Hello and welcome to this live broadcast from Crisler Arena. I'm Evan Osterley with Will Yang, and we will be covering Michigan versus Michigan State. Huge basketball game coming here live today. Both teams 14-9 right now. Both teams sitting on the bubble in the NCAA tournament. The Spartans 6-4 in conference. Wolverines 4-6 in conference. They met 9 days ago at the Crisler Center in East Lansing, and Michigan State came out on top. A tough loss for Michigan, in which senior Zach Irvin, who was sick leading up to the game and missed practice, finished 0 of 8 from the field, battled foul trouble, questionable calls from the referees, but that doesn't matter now. Michigan just has to win this game tonight.
Yeah, one of the big matchups we'll be looking at is actually in the inside at the center position. Will be Nick Ward, freshman for MSU, against Moritz Wagner, the redshirt sophomore for the Wolverines. And the key is the same for both of them, actually. They need to stay out of trouble. For MSU, they don't really have much depth at the center position with their backup center, Kenny Goins, the backup center. There's a huge drop-off between that starting line and their reserves, so Nick Ward needs to stay off of foul trouble. And the same goes for Moritz Wagner. He got in foul trouble early in East Lansing back when Michigan played at MSU, and there were stupid fouls too. I think he has to be more disciplined, stay out of foul trouble, because he's Michigan's best offensive scorer on the interior, and he needs to stay on the court if Michigan wants a chance to beat MSU.
For Michigan State, they play 4 freshmen with significant minutes. Talk about Langford, Ward, as you mentioned. Their superstar is Miles Bridges.
Yeah, Miles Bridges, one of the best players in college football, a true freshman from the state of Michigan. And the Wolverines are going to need to throw everything they have at him. Last time they played, DJ Wilson was on him, and he did a decent job throughout the game, but Bridges took over late in the second half, and I expect Beeline to put Wilson on him, but he needs to send help. Wilson got bullied against Jayshawn Tate of Ohio State, Michigan's most recent loss on Sunday, and I don't think Wilson can do it alone. He's going to need to send a lot of help, and it'll take 5 guys to slow down Miles Bridges in this game.
Yeah, Wilson obviously an excellent defender at 6'10" with a lot of wingspan, but Bridges just so strong, so athletic. He's a finalist for the Karl Malone Power Forward of the Year award. He's a National Player of the Year candidate, and he's going to be really, really good at the next level. But for now, Michigan needs to focus on stopping him and making somebody else beat them.
Yeah, and another thing that doesn't really have to do with X's and O's, but I think Michigan they can't be soft. In the last game against Ohio State, they just got out-rebounded, bullied in the paint and overall. And Michigan State, although this isn't one of Tom Izzo's most talented teams, they are tough, they play physical, and Michigan's going to need to match that physicality if they want a chance to win this game and stay in the conversation for the NCAA tournament.
Certainly. Let's get to the starters for both teams. For the visiting Spartans, it'll be freshman Josh Langford, Tum Nairn, Miles Bridges, Eron Harris, a transfer from West Virginia, and freshman Nick Ward. For the Wolverines, it'll be DJ Wilson, guards Derek Walton, Muhammad Abdur-Rahman, Zach Irvin, and big man Mo Wagner. Our officials tonight, Ted Valentine, Gene Sterator, and John Gaffrey. And not much else to be said. It's a rivalry game. Both teams on the bubble. Couldn't mean more. Energy in the building. And we're about to get underway with the tip-off.
Yeah, well, Michigan State fans will call it a rivalry. Michigan fans won't, but tips off and it goes to Michigan State to start off the game.
Here comes Tum Nairn, one of the best assist to turnover ratios in the Big Ten. And he swings it over, and that's Harris. Harris back to Nairn. Nairn looking. State resetting their offense now. Ward on the screen, and now back to Harris. Excuse me, that's Langford. Langford on the wing. Ward with the screen. Langford to Bridges. Bridges, shot clock winding down. Nairn drives. No good, and that's Wilson on the rebound to Walton the other way.
That's a good defensive possession. Nairn is not a good three-point shooter, so they backed off of him, made him take a tough shot, and it wasn't good.
Walton swings to Wilson and back to Walton. Now to Mo Wagner, and that is Irvin on the wing. Finds Abdur-Rahman. Wagner gets the ball at the top of the key. Back to Abdur-Rahman, and he gets it. Backdoor cut, and Michigan's up 2-0.
Yeah, that's an easy screen by Wagner. Had the ball and blocked off Rahman's defenders. Easy, uncontested layup, too.
And Bridges looking for Nick Ward, and a charge Mo Wagner takes the charge from Miles Bridges.
Yeah, now that's 2 great defensive possessions by Michigan, and that's exactly what I said they needed to do. They need to send help. You can't stop Miles Bridges one-on-one. Wagner stepped up and held perfectly and drew the charge.
Yeah, Bridges got a great first step, but a good move by Mo Wagner. And now Walton to Wagner. He swings it to Irvin. Irvin on the wing, over to Abdur-Rahman. Wagner again at the top of the key. Trying to run the same play, not there. Wagner drives on Ward, and he scores. 4-0.
Yeah, I thought there could have been a foul there, but Wagner showing his offensive repertoire. Ward just couldn't keep up.
Here's Nairn. Gets a screen from Bridges, nothing happening. State setting up their offense. Tum Nairn. 4-0 Michigan, a minute and a half into the game. No fouls yet on Michigan, just 1 on MSU. Here's Bridges at the top of the key against Wilson. Lane open. Ward on the outside against Wagner. Swings it back to Nairn. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Nairn drives, kicks out. Bridges fires. Air ball and a shot clock violation and another great offensive possession. Sorry, defensive possession from the Wolverines.
Yeah, that was just another case of suffocating defense. John Beeline's Michigan teams aren't known for their defense, but great job just taking away shots and forcing Michigan State to make a bad shot late in the shot clock.
Basically a picture-perfect start for the Wolverines as Walton brings the ball up again. Gets a screen from Wilson. Now from Wagner. Walton still with the ball, driving, fires a mid-range jumper, and he hits.
Yes, Derek Walton's been on fire late. It'll be a tough game for MSU if he gets hot early.
6-0 lead early on. Ward gets the ball inside. Ward goes back up. He misses. Irvin with the board. Here comes Derek Walton, Michigan in transition. Walton gets a screen from Wilson. Back to Wilson. Wilson loses the ball and Bridges in transition. And Bridges slams it home. And 6-2, MSU is on the board now.
Yeah, unfortunate break for Michigan. The ball just slipped out of Wilson's hand and nothing they could do about that one.
The Michigan State player slapping the floor. Abdur-Rahman finds Irvin on the wing. Back to Wagner. Here's DJ Wilson. Swings it to Walton. Walton against Langford. At the top, resetting. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Wagner coming up for the screen. Wagner the screen on Langford. Walton. Wagner for 3. And he hits.
Yeah, Wagner's been winning that matchup so far. That's one of his biggest assets is his ability to shoot the 3 as a 5. And Ward just gave him too much space.
Michigan 4-4 from the field early. Here's Bridges against Wilson. Bridges swings it over to Langford. Langford to Nairn. Ward calling for it inside, not going to get it. Nairn resetting at the top. Michigan, more excellent defense. 7 on the shot clock. A double team. Gets out of it. Langford. Langford inside to Ward. 2 on the shot clock. And Nick Ward with the late bucket over Mo Wagner. A good spin move there.
Yeah, Ward's another. We've been talking about Wagner's offensive repertoire, but Ward's got some moves of his own, and he showed it there.
And Cassius Winston will check in for Michigan State at the next buzzer. Along with it looks like Kenny Goins. Abdur-Rahman swinging to Irvin, inside to Wagner against Ward. Wagner with 15 on the shot clock, backing down Ward. A double team coming from Langford. Ball on the ground, and MSU has it. Here comes Miles Bridges, and he's got Ward in transition, and he slams it home. And a little run going here for Michigan State. It's 9-6 now. Michigan's got to get this momentum back.
Yeah, Michigan State locking in defensively. Great trap. Ward has had trouble guarding Wagner one-on-one, so they send Langford in. Got the steal there and easy buckets in transition.
Abdur-Rahman now swings it over to Zach Irvin on the wing. Back to Wilson up top, now Walton. Walton with the ball, just 9 on the shot clock. Gets a pick from Wagner. Walton looking. Mid-range jumper over Nairn. Rims out. Ward with the rebound for MSU.
Yeah, Walton was trying to stay aggressive there.
And Ward takes it all the way. Michigan was denying the ball from Tum Nairn, and Ward just took him himself, the big man, all the way up the lane for Michigan State. State scored the last 6 points. It's 9-8 now. Wilson up top, swings it to Walton. Back to Wilson. Thought about it? No, Bridges all over him. Now Walton looking for Wagner. No, swings it over to Irvin. Irvin a jumper. Off. Tum Nairn the rebound and back the other way for Michigan State on the break, and he'll stop over to Bridges. Bridges fires. No good, and Irvin with the rebound there.
Yeah, Irvin's been struggling of late.
And an offensive foul call on the Wolverines. They're going to call a push, it looks like, on DJ Wilson. and we are going to have some subs. We are at our first TV timeout, and Michigan started the game well, but MSU on a 6-0-1 right now.
Yeah, Michigan started off the game very well, and they did it by great defense, suffocating Michigan State, taking away passing lanes and forcing them to take difficult shots late in the shot clock. And that defense is what sort of sparked their run. Offensively, Moritz Wagner has really been owning that matchup early against Nick Ward, the center for Michigan State. But after the hot start by the Wolverines, the Spartans have slowly clawed their way back in the game. They're only down 1 now, and they did that by increasing the tempo on offense. They were struggling in the half-court offense, so I think Tom Izzo wanted them to run more and catch Michigan's defenders off guard a little bit, and that's exactly what they did to get back into this game.
Well, we talked about the center matchup at the beginning of the broadcast, and Mo Wagner started out really well. He had a 3, but Nick Ward has 6 points for Michigan State, and he's really keyed their run. Some early stats: Michigan 4 of 6 from the field, Michigan State 4 of 7. Michigan hasn't scored in the last 2:23. Again, we're at the first TV timeout. Michigan leading 9-8, 14:44 left in the first half.
Yeah, both bigs, as you said, have been playing well. Moritz Wagner for Michigan and Nick Ward for MSU. And I think both coaches will continue to try to go to them offensively and sort of run the offense from the outside, from the inside out. And I expect both teams to counter that with double teams. And it's going to be up to which center can either score or pass, make the right pass, and get the offense going from the inside.
Good defense early by Michigan against Miles Bridges. He drove once and took a charge. He scored another basket, however. But Michigan in the half-court defense has been really solid. They've gotten the shot clock low. Michigan State's been forcing bad shots. It's been the transition points that have Michigan State in this game early.
Yeah, I think, like you said, they have been doing a really good job of Miles Bridges sending help when they need to. Like I said, they needed to at the beginning of the broadcast, and that resulted in an offensive foul by Miles Bridges. But transition has been really what's gotten MSU back into this game. The high pace, the scrappy play has been really in MSU's favor. As Michigan, like the reason the transition game works is because Michigan's unable to set up that half-court defense that was so effective at the start of the game.
Mark Donald checking in for Mo Wagner for Michigan, Cassius Winston for Tum Tum Nairn, and Kenny Goins for Nick Ward for Michigan State. Also checking in for Michigan State is Alvin Ellis. And Bridges looking for Goins, over to Ellis against Irvin. Ellis swings it back to Bridges, and here's Winston, the freshman. To the outside, Matt McQuaid also now into the game for Michigan State. Almost a full swing except for Miles Bridges. Tom Izzo going to his bench early. Ellis trapped at the top by Irvin, looking for help. Mark Donald tipped the pass away, but back to Michigan State, and a shot clock violation before Bridges got the slam dunk.
Again, Michigan has been dominating the defensive battle in the half court, just taking away everything Michigan State wants to do with the ball and making them have to go late in the shot clock.
Excellent defense so far by the Wolverines in the half court. Here's DJ Wilson, swings it to Irvin on the elbow. Donald with the screen. Irvin driving, kicks it out to Abdur Rahman. Irvin for 3. And he hits it, and another 3 for Michigan. They're 2 of 2 from behind the arc to start. And now Kenny Goins can't hold on to a quick pass from Winston. Here comes Abdur Rahman, looking, slows down now, and here's Derek Walton, thought about it, didn't go for it. Walton with a pick from Donald, swings to Wilson in the corner, and he'll fire just off, and the rebound by Goins back the other way. And now a quick pass from Winston to Bridges, a great move in the lane, and Miles Bridges with an NBA move to score right there, 12-10 Michigan.
Yeah, Miles Bridges, great job running the floor, running down the center of the rim, running down the center of the court, and point guard found him there for an easy, smooth bucket.
Wilson swings it over to Irvin. Irvin working against Ellis, gets a screen from Donald, nothing working. Wilson over to the corner now, it's Walton. Down the middle of the lane, kicks it out to Abdur Rahman for 3, and he hits it. Michigan starting out very hot shooting. They're 3 of 4 from behind the arc, and they lead by 5 with 13 minutes left in the first half. Yeah,
Rahman's a guy who I think has been shooting it really well from beyond the arc, and that was set up by Derek Walton's penetration.
Winston to Bridges, Bridges for 3, and he hits, and Miles Bridges keying this Michigan State offense right now.
Yeah, Miles Bridges, one of the better three-point shooters for power forward in college basketball.
Irvin on the elbow, back to Walton up top, and Wilson looking for the ball, not there. Walton will swing it to Donald on the outside. He's working against Goins. Back to Irvin up top against Ellis. That's Abdur Rahman, and he's going to stop, drive, fire for 3, And he hits it. Great move by Muhammad Abdul-Rahman against Matt McQuaid.
Great one-on-one battle. McQuaid, a pretty good defender, but Rockman got him, broke his ankles with the crossover.
McQuaid, the prototypical 3-and-D, but couldn't do it there. Winston runs into a trap from Walton and Donald. Down low to Goins and back to Winston. Here's Winston working against Derek Walton. Winston driving, step back, looking, finds Alvin Ellis. 6 seconds on the shot clock, 5 on the shot clock. Winston is gonna have to attempt something, and they're gonna say he didn't get off the layup. Another shot clock violation for Michigan State, and we're gonna go to our second TV timeout. 18-13 Michigan with 11:52 left in the first half. And how good has this half-court defense been?
Yeah, it's sort of a theme that's been occurring throughout the first half of this first half is Michigan's half-court defense, and I think what they're really doing is taking away opportunities for players, for the point guard to get rid of the ball. For these Michigan State teams, their point guard is really the only player that's capable of handling the ball, but neither point guard, whether it's Tum Tum Nairn or Cassius Winston, is really a scorer. So if they can get the ball stuck in the point guard's hand and take away the options for the other 4 guys on the court, that's what stalls Michigan State's offense. And we saw that there. Winston was stuck with the ball late in the shot clock. He had nowhere to go with it, and he had to force up a layup, and he was short of the shot clock as a result.
Michigan is really denying the ball. State's not able to get the ball inside early on, and it's been excellent half-court defense. Michigan State has 5 turnovers to just 3 for the Wolverines. The Wolverines have assisted on 4 of their 7 baskets. Michigan State assisted on just 2 of 6. And Michigan is shooting the ball really well here early on.
Yeah, it's really all been set up by Derek Walton. He's been penetrating, probing the lane, and he's just been aggressive, whether he's the one who actually takes the shot or not, whether it's a pump fake, whether it's a kick out. It just keeps Michigan State's defenders on their toes and just slightly out of position. Rockman's doing a great job of knocking down shots. Irvin, who has struggled, we mentioned his struggles at the beginning of the podcast, 0 points as a senior against MSU, only 5 against Ohio State. He hit an early 3, and if he can get his mojo going, it might be too much for MSU, but it's still early in the game, and Tom Izzo can certainly get these Spartans back in it. And although Michigan's half-court defense has been great, the transition defense has been absolutely dreadful, and Michigan State's been able to get whatever they want as long as the tempo is faster.
Yeah, certainly a big confidence booster for Zach Irvin. Tom Izzo unleashed his bench on the Wolverines really early, putting in 4 bench players. For Michigan, we've only seen Mark Donald. We're going to see Duncan Robinson, Xavier Simpson, at least in the first half. What can we expect to see from Simpson and Robinson when they come in?
Well, Robinson's Michigan's best 3-point shooter, and he'll really stretch the floor. And look for more drives and kicks. We saw some early, like I said, with Walton and Rockman. Now, Robinson's subbing in for I think he's subbing in for DJ Wilson, and now Michigan puts more shooters on the floor, try to spread this Michigan State defense out.
Michigan State putting in Arns into the game, it looks like, for Kenny Goins is still out there. Arns checking in, Duncan Robinson, as you said, for the Wolverines. Here's Walton to Donald. Donald swings it over. That's Abdur-Rahman on the wing. Now driving in against McQuaid. Abdur-Rahman feeding it down low to Donald against Goins. Got it hit away by McQuaid. Orange tried to save it. Now Donald on the ground. The scrap for the ball. No call. And Arns has it, and State's going the other way. Winston in transition now.
Good hustle by both teams on that. We'll hope to see a lot more of that. That's just fun basketball.
And Winston throws the ball out of bounds. Another turnover for Michigan State. After a scrum for the ball, Winston with his 2nd turnover on a bad pass of the day.
Yeah, that's just a stupid mistake by Winston. Izzo can't be happy about that. Can't enter the angle when you're entering the ball into the post is tough to make when you're doing it from the top of the key, and Winston did exactly that.
And Arns came in for Miles Bridges, so now it's 5 bench players on the floor for Michigan State. Walton will drive. He's battling Winston. Great pass to Donald. Fouled and the bucket. Goins got him from behind, but the strong finish by Mark Donald.
Yeah, easy pick and roll. I think it was Goins that came out hard on the hedge, by Walton, but Walton was able to get around that and make the pass, and there wasn't any help from a third player involved. And when it came, it was too late, and one for Mark Donnell.
An excellent bounce pass there from Derek Walton. And Tom Izzo, frustrated with Cassius Winston, let Walton get around him right there, and that led to the end one for Donald.
Yeah, not a good series for Cassius Winston. You know, usually when you want to enter in the post, you pass it to the wings who has a better angle, and Winston pretty much just chucked it straight out of bounds. And then he picked up the foul on the other end.
Aaron Harris and Nick Ward back into the game for Michigan State. Wagner will check in if Donald makes it. He does. Oh, excuse me, that's John Teskey. John Teskey into the game in the first half for the Michigan Wolverines. And a loud cheer from the crowd. And here comes Iran. Free throw is no good. Ward grabs the rebound. Quickly back the other way is Winston. He finds Harris on the wing. Harris working, gets it to Nick Ward. Ward at the top of the key, looking to get the ball to Ellis. Can't get it to him. And that's back to Winston now. He's double teamed. And a foul, it looks like on Xavier Simpson, a reach from behind.
Yeah, Simpson a little too aggressive there. He's a pretty pesky deep defender, and GBM likes to put him in on as a defensive specialist late in the game, but he just got a little overeager there.
Winston inbound the ball. It's Miles Bridges back in the game for Michigan State. Winston at the top. It's Cassius Winston, Miles Bridges, Nick Ward, Iran Harris, and Alvin Ellis right now. Ellis with the jumper off the feet from Winston, and it goes down, and a 6-point lead now for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Robinson's got to do a better job defensively getting over that screen. Alvin Ellis is a guy who's been great off the bench for MSU, knocking down shots, and he did it just there.
Teskey sets the pick. Simpson can't get into the paint. Abdur-Rahman. Teskey coming for another pick. That big 7-foot frame, good at setting picks. Abdur-Rahman to Simpson, can't finish. And the rebound by Alvin Ellis. He gets it to Winston going the other way. Winston to Ellis. Ellis nearly loses it. Bridges swings it to Harris in the corner. Harris now underneath, and a tough finish, but he gets it to go. 23-19 now.
Yeah, another case of MSU pushing the tempo. They got Michigan out of position on defense. Great ball movement. Harris with an easy drive, baseline to the rim.
Simpson gets it to Robinson. Robinson now over to Zach Irvin. Irvin stops, looking, finds Abdur-Rahman. Swings it to Robinson. Nowhere to go. Great defense by Miles Bridges, and back up to Abdur-Rahman. 7 on the shot clock. He'll fire a long three. No good, and Ward, the rebound for Michigan State, gets it to Winston, who will push the tempo. And strips. Tie up with Irvin. Crowd wanted to travel, and it'll be a jump ball. Cassius Winston fell down. The crowd thought it was a travel. The refs did call it. Looked like he kept one of his feet on the ground even when he fell down, and it'll be a jump ball.
Yeah, not really sure what the official was doing there. It took a while to make a call. It decided it was jump ball.
Possession arrow for Michigan, so they'll get the ball back. Michigan leading 23-19, 8:32 left in the first half. Walton checks back in for, it looks like Abdur-Rahman. Simpson will stay out there, so 2-point goes out there. And DJ Wilson, Mo Wagner also back in the game for the Wolverines. Simpson with the ball, looking for Wagner underneath, and he's fouled by Iran Harris. Couldn't finish it, but it'll be 2 free throws for Mo Wagner.
Yeah, great pass by Xavier Simpson. Again, classic pick and roll. Ward was very aggressive coming over there. He was initially defending Wagner. Pick and roll defense, it takes 5 guys, and you send the 2 guys involved up to attack the point guard. A third guy needs to come over, but no one came over until it was too late. And Wagner would have had an easy 2, but a good foul, smart foul. Harris.
Wagner taking the first free throw. It is no good. Rims out, so the lead remains at 4. Michigan State really struggling with that pick and roll defense. Both Nick Ward and Kenny Goins are having a lot of trouble getting underneath or getting around the screen to help out the primary defender. Wagner, second free throw, hits that one. It'll be 24-19 going the other way. Tum Nairn, some tempo from Michigan State, and a tip ball by Xavier Simpson, but it's out of bounds.
Good D by Simpson. That's ball denial, great ball denial, and that's really what has been the key to Michigan's defense is great ball denial, and Simpson showed it there.
Completely agree. Michigan State's been unable to get the ball inside. Here comes Tum Nairn setting up the offense for Michigan State. That's Langford on the wing. Langford swings it to Miles Bridges, working against Wilson. Bridges at the top of the key. Tried to get it back to Nairn, couldn't. Harris inside to Ward. Michigan State with their starters back out there. State gets the ball, and a steal by Derek Walton back the other way. Robinson on the wing. Thought about it, didn't take it. Swings it back out to Walton for 3. And he hits it. Another 3 for the Wolverines, and their lead is back up to 8. State pushing the ball down again. Langford on the wing, received the ball from Nairn very quickly. Now back to Nairn. Nairn drives, no good. Wagner the rebound. Walton going to slow it down here. Derek Walton getting a screen from Wagner. Looking, nowhere to go. Over to Simpson. Simpson will reset the offense. And here comes Mo Wagner for a screen. Simpson guarded by Nairn. Can't get around. Swings it to TJ Wilson. Kick out. Simpson for 3. And he hits it. And the crowd is on their feet. Michigan has their largest lead of the day. 30-19, back-to-back 3-pointers for Michigan's 2 point guards.
Yeah, Simpson's a guy who's really been struggling from shooting it outside all season, but he had a wide open look there. He canned it.
Crowd is on their feet. Langford, sealed by Wagner. Langford falls. Mo Wagner lays it up and in. And the crowd is on their feet. Timeout, Michigan State. Michigan leads 32-19. A couple threes and then a transition layup off the seal by Mo Wagner, and this crowd is absolutely loving it.
You got a solid timeout there for Tom Izzo. A great run by Michigan trying to stop the bleeding as much as possible. This has been a great run by Michigan, up by 13. Obviously the game isn't over, but Michigan's just been so aggressive defensively, and I think that's been the key, is coming out and attacking their guards and making them just struggle handling the ball close to half-court line. And that was an aggressive hedge by Wagner, something he has been struggling with, just footwork, whatever technique, but he stole the ball from Langford there, who's not a really good ball handler. And Michigan's been taking advantages of the weaknesses of Michigan State's guard. Like I said, Langford not a good ball handler, and he was exposed out there at the top of the key. And it looked like Langford was trying to intentionally foul Wagner to stop the fast break, but Wagner just stumbled right over him and got the wide open layup, and the crowd is just filled with energy after that fast break.
Yeah, strong transition finish by Mo Wagner. Michigan State with 10 turnovers already. 16 points off those 10 turnovers from Michigan, and a 9-0 run in the last minute 31. Michigan State hasn't scored in 2 minutes and 21 seconds since they cut the lead before, and they now trail by 13. Michigan's scorching from behind the arc, 6 of 8 from three-point land, 12 of 17 overall, shooting 71%. Michigan State shooting 69%, but when you're losing the turnover battle by 6, it's hard to come back from that just from shooting the ball well.
Yeah, and I think the reason is because Tom Izzo knows that Michigan has been dominating in the half-court defense, so he's been trying to push the tempo as much as possible to get Michigan out of position defensively and get certain matchups that are favorable for the Spartans. But the problem is they're moving it so fast, sometimes they get out of control and sloppy basketball occurs. That's the reason Michigan State's been struggling, holding on to the ball, not committing turnovers. And I think for Tom Izzo, you're telling them, okay, we need to push the tempo because it has been working. They have been getting Michigan out of position defensively. They have been getting the matchups they want, but they just need to take care of the ball. And I think just more discipline, keep it in the hands of your ball handlers. I think Nairn and Winston are Michigan State's best ball handlers, the 2 point guards that see regular minutes. they need to be able to get it to the scorers, and Michigan's been able to deny that with good ball denial and keeping the ball in the point guard's hands.
Yeah, Michigan State trying to run a lot of offense through Langford, Ellis, and Bridges, and it hasn't gone very well. Again, we focused on the big man matchup. Mo Wagner, 8 points, 3 of 3 from the field. Nick Ward with 6 points, but he hasn't scored since about 6 minutes in. And Michigan doing an excellent job on defense. It's leading to easy buckets on the other side. 3 of their last 3, 7 of the last 9 from the field. Michigan State's made 5 of their last 6, yet they're on a 2-minute, 20-second scoring drought. They just can't get shots off.
Yeah, also Wagner, despite not being in foul trouble, has seen the bench a lot this game. Interesting strategy with substitutions by Beeline.
Goins into the game for Ward. And a quick shot by Bridges, no good. Walton pushing it the other way. Walton stopped by Goins. Mismatch right here. Walton over to Robinson in the corner. Walton thought about it. Walton fires. Walton hits. And another three-pointer. 7 of 9 behind the arc for Michigan. The lead is now 16 with 6:20 left in the first half.
Yeah, mismatch there. 5 matchup on the point guard. Gave Derek Walton too much space, and he hit it right in his eye.
A 12-0 run. Now a kick out to Eron Harris, and he answers. 3 for Michigan State. Their first points in nearly 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's poor defense by Derek Walton. Miles Bridges is one of the best passers also in college basketball. And you need to send help, but you have to be smart where you send it from. And you can't send help from a shooter. Harris made him pay there.
Simpson with some good dribbling. Not getting anything going, though. Wagner will come out. It's Walton with the ball against Nairn. Walton driving. Good move. Kicks it out for Simpson. Simpson with 6 on the shot clock. Down low to Wilson. And a little bunny shot. And great passing, great patience from the Wolverines. Results in another bucket.
Yeah, great cut by Wilson. It wasn't much, but it was just enough to create separation from the defender. How about your freshman point guard?
Bridges against Wilson. Bridges fakes the pass. Kicks it out to Goins now. A mid-range jumper. That one is no good. Walton had it, but an excellent second effort by Aaron Harris to grab the ball from Walton and put it up for the easy lay-in.
Yeah, that's good D. Michigan got what they wanted, forcing Goins, who's not a good shooter, to take a deep shot, but just got a rebound.
Walton now gets a screen from Wagner. Back to Wagner against Goins. Behind the back, that's his signature move. And what a move by Mo Wagner right there. Behind the back, took a Euro step and hit the layup.
Yeah, this is what I was saying at the beginning of the broadcast. The drop-off at the center position is pretty steep for Michigan State, going struggling on all cylinders on defense.
And Nairn to Bridges. He can't hit the 3. Simpson a long rebound. And Michigan coming back the other way, leading by 15. Simpson to Walton. Fakes. Up for Wilson. Wanted the alley-oop. Didn't get it, but Wilson with the left-handed slam right in the face of Kenny Goins, and he's going to get a technical foul. He put a left-handed slam right in Kenny Goins' face, but then he yelled in his face, and that's going to be a technical foul every time in college basketball.
Yeah, we saw things get a little chippy in the last game in East Lansing. Mo Wagner and Nick Ward both picked up double technical, and now it looks like things are getting chippy again. Michigan State not happy with DJ Wilson's taunting. DJ Wilson not happy about the technical. And I guess this is a rivalry game. I guess maybe I misspoke by saying it's a one-sided rivalry because both teams are getting into it now. It seems like a lot more motion during this game.
Crowd doesn't like it. Beeline doesn't like it. Harris will take the technical free throw. Eric Walton wanted the alley-oop. That would have really got the crowd going. Wilson didn't think he could get it. And Harris will miss the technical free throw as the crowd goes wild. And he will take one more, looking to make something out of DJ Wilson's taunt. Crowd still out. Michigan with their largest lead of the game right now, 41-24, 4:30 left in the first half. And Harris will get that one to go, lead back down to 16. Michigan has hit their last 7 field goals. Just scorching hot right now for the Michigan Wolverines on the offensive side.
Yeah, this Michigan team is known for being a quiet team. So although you give up that one free point and possession with the technical, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing because it motivates your players. And Beeline's not going to be happy about it, but I don't think it's as bad as most people would think.
I agree. Certainly sends a statement. Ellis swings it over. That's Harris inside. Miles Bridges against Irvin, and Bridges an excellent move.
Yeah, that was just an amazing move. Great body control by Bridges, one of the most athletic big men in the country. And with DJ Wilson getting subbed out, this much smaller Zach Irvin is going to be matched up on Bridges, and I think Izzo will try to exploit that more.
Bridges has been excellent for Michigan State as always. Walton, tough drive in the lane, couldn't get it to go. Ball tipped up, and Walton comes up with it, and he holds on, and they are going to call a foul on Tum Tum Nairn. Excellent effort from Derek Walton. Couldn't get his original layup to go. The ball got tipped a few times by a few different players, and Mo Wagner tripped up now. Not sure if it was intentional, but he fell down walking past the Michigan State huddle. The refs trying to figure out what happened. Beeline trying to figure out what happened. Looked like he just fell down.
Izzo's talking to the ref right now. Looks like he has some strong words to say.
Some chippiness coming now in this rivalry between these two teams. A technical foul on DJ Wilson. And what a great second effort from Derek Walton on that play right there. Great effort from both teams so far. Certainly no lack of that in this game. But Michigan shooting the ball extremely well, forcing turnovers on defense. They have a 14-point lead with 3:49 left in the first half.
Yeah, that little exchange by the bench was exactly how Wagner picked up the technical foul on Indy's Lansing. It looked like it was just an incidental trip, but I gotta just love the passes from Wagner there. Michigan leading 14 now. It seems like they have a comfortable lead with 3:49 left to go, but for those people who watch the Super Bowl on Sunday know that the game is never over until the clock hits zero, and sometimes it's not even over until the overtime clock hits zero. So we still have a lot more basketball to be played here.
Yeah, Michigan alumni Tom Brady with one of the best comebacks in football history in the Super Bowl on Sunday. Michigan fans can certainly be proud of that one, and hopefully that energy around Michigan can carry over to a win tonight for the Wolverines.
But back on the court, though, saw a nice, pretty athletic by Miles Bridges, who's just honestly a freakish athlete. That's what has made him so highly touted as a potential NBA draft prospect. And look for him, like when Zach Irvin's in the game, when DJ Wilson's out, look for Miles Bridges to take advantage of that matchup with his size and athleticism. And I think Beeline knows that he's going to put Wilson back in. But I think Michigan State's best hope is to just go through Bridges. But so far, Michigan's been doing a good job of keeping him away from the rim, sending help. But I think Miles Bridges, he's Michigan State's guy, and I think they got to run their offense through him. And I think they've really been struggling just trying to run their offense. Michigan has been being aggressive, attacking their point guards and just disrupting the flow of their offense. And I think that's what's caused Michigan State to get the shot clock violations they've gotten, or just the bad shots late in the shot clock. So I think that Izzo's got to switch it up a bit offensively and get the ball in Bridges' hands, because he's one of the best players in college basketball for a reason. And I think that he's going to need to showcase that if the Spartans want to find a way to claw back into this game.
Everybody talks about Miles Bridges, probably a surefire lottery pick at this point for Michigan State. I've been saying this for about a month now. Mo Wagner has the offensive skill set to play at the next level. There are questions certainly about his defense, but I think Mo Wagner is going to get drafted, if not this year, then next year.
Yeah, Wagner's definitely a guy who took a tremendous leap over the offseason before this, from last year to this year, and his offensive repertoire. You saw that behind the back and a nice floater. That's usually something you'd see from a point guard, just dribbling the ball to the top of the key and having the finesse at the end of the play to convert that floater. And I think, Wagner's, he's just been continuing to build. He played a lot, and he did a lot back in high school in Germany. He sort of played all five positions back there, and I don't think the competition was nearly as tough back there, but he definitely has, the skills of a guard despite being almost 7 feet. But I think one question with him is consistency. He does commit a lot of fouls that keep him on the bench at times, and I think that's something that's really hurt Michigan at times this year.
And a technical foul to Nick Ward. Apparently he did trip Mo Wagner on that last exchange. Refs talking to both benches before we start up again, and Walton to shoot technical free throws. So this game getting very chippy towards the end of this first half. Technical fouls for both teams within the last few minutes.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened. I couldn't see clearly, and I wasn't able to see the replay, but I think that these refs, not really sure why these technicals have been called. I didn't really think DJ Wilson's quote, taunting even merited a technical, but I think these refs are trying to send a message that, you know, we know this is a rivalry game and we're not going to have any of it. We're going to try to keep you guys in check, keep this game clean, and 2 early technicals trying to send a message from the officials.
Walton makes both free throws. Ward will go to the bench, going back in for Michigan State. Michigan leads 43-27, 3:45 left in the first half. Walton to Abdur-Rahman, back to Walton. Walton swings it over to Robinson, thought about it, didn't take it. Walton now still working against Nairn. Wagner coming up on the screen. Walton swings it over to Abdur-Rahman. He's been hot. He fires, no good, out of bounds. Michigan State basketball.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was the wisest shot by Rahman. Deep 3, far behind the 3-point arc with a lot of time left on the shot clock. He's been hot early, but I think that was a heat check for the sophomore, the junior.
Ellis bringing the ball up for Michigan State. Harris gives it back to Ellis now. Ellis against Duncan Robinson. Ellis at the top of the key. Looking, that's Eron Harris. Harris to Ellis. Ellis against Robinson. Nairn calling for it against Walton. That's Bridges now against Irvin. Miles Bridges 8 on the shot clock. Feeds it inside to Goins against Wagner. Double team. Kick out. Ellis over to Nairn. Nairn to Ellis at the buzzer. Can't get it. Walton the rebound for the Wolverines back the other way. And he finds Robinson right away. Thought about it? No. Reset, and Walton with the ball at the top.
Yeah, that was great defense by Michigan, knowing your opponent, come there, not a good 3-point shooter. So although it was good ball movement to get Nairn an open 3, he's not a good shooter. Pass it up.
And Walton finds Robinson on the cut. Another great pass, and Michigan's lead to 18. It's the largest lead of the game with 2.5 minutes left to go in the first half.
Yeah, nice little banana cut there by Duncan Robinson. Michigan State thinks he's just a shooter, and he's a great shooter, but he can also get to the lane.
Harris back to Nairn, wide open to the top. Not a very good shooter, and he misses that one. Wagner to Walton. Walton pushing now. Passes Goins. Robinson working against Bridges. Thought about a long 3. Robinson still with the ball. Over to Walton against Tum Tum Nairn. Wagner possibly thinking about a screen. Now he will screen. Nairn still on Walton. Walton swings it over to Abdur-Rahman. Aaron Harris on Rahman. Back to Walton against Nairn. Walton looking, 4 on the shot clock. Walton, a long jumper, and he hits that, and Michigan's lead is up to 20. A tough contested jumper by Walton, and now he's pumping up the crowd. Crowd getting on their feet. 1 minute 40 left to go. Michigan leading 47-27. 6-0 run for the Wolverines. And Ellis nearly lost the ball. Now swings it to Goins down low. And a good hook shot against Mo Wagner.
Well, that was an amazing pass by Elvin Ellis. He was trapped in the corner. It looked like he was starting to turn it over and skidded it across the baseline to Goins, who had a nice finish over Wagner.
Crowd was ready to go nuts at the stop. Abdur-Rahman driving the lane. And a great finish by Abdur-Rahman. The crowd getting loud again. Nairn pushing it right away. Nairn down the lane. Looking. Didn't go up for it. Dribbled back out. Gets the ball to Elvin Ellis. He's working against Duncan Robinson. Now under a minute left in the first half. Michigan lead by 20. Tum Tum Nairn against Walton. Crowd getting on their feet again for the end of the first half. Nairn with 10 on the shot clock against Walton. Nairn looking. Not made a pass yet. Now switches. The mismatch up the top. Robinson, and that's Harris for 3. Air ball. Another shot clock violation. And Crisler is on its feet and loud. Michigan leading by 20 points against Michigan State. 38 seconds left in the first half. 4 excellent defense.
Yeah, that's 3 possessions in the last 2 minutes or so where they've been daring Tum Tum Nairn to shoot it. The first time he passed it up because he's not a good shooter. The second time he shot it and he bricked it because he's not a good shooter. And they've just been daring him to shoot, giving him space and taking away space from others, and it just stalls out their defense. And Michigan's been doing that repeatedly, and that's one of the main reasons they're up by 20 now with 27 seconds left to go, likely the last possession of the half.
Just an awful shot by Harris, and like you said, Walton dribbling down the clock. There's 20 left in the half. Wagner, and he slams it home down the lane. Mo Wagner bringing in the energy. He had no fear on that one, and crowd getting very loud. Unbelievable down the lane as Mo Wagner just relentless. 17 seconds left in the first half. The lead is 22, and everybody in Crisler loud, very proud of that brave effort by Mo Wagner down the lane.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was saying. Wagner needs to stay out of trouble. And he's the kind of player that can do this and just completely wreck a defense. And he couldn't do this against Michigan State last time because he was in foul trouble. And also Ward out of the game. No one can stop Wagner on that.
Wagner 13 points in this first half. Winston now with the last possession of the half, working against Simpson. Winston with 4 on the clock, and it's going to be an offensive foul. Excuse me, he stepped out of bounds. Winston steps out of bounds. 5 seconds left. Michigan will have a chance one more time to add to this 23-point lead, and John Beeline calls a timeout. And standing ovation for the Wolverines from this Crisler crowd.
Yeah, as I was saying before that last possession, Wagner, the key is being Wagner staying out of foul trouble, and he's done exactly that. And he's been able to play minutes, and they've been able to run the offense through him. And Ward has really struggled with foul trouble. He's the one who picked up that technical in the timeout, so Izzo had to sit him. Again, the drop off to the backup center, Kenny Goins, is pretty significant for MSU. And without Ward in the game, no one can stop Bo Wagner. And on that last play, he's just a runaway freight train. I think it was Josh Langford who got in the way. A small shooting guard, he has no business. Stopping Bo Wagner, a big guy running at full speed. Wagner was able to convert that and one.
And I don't know if you saw, but Tom Izzo just kind of exhaling on that last turnover. Walton with 3 seconds on the clock. Walton kicks out. Robinson for 3 at the buzzer, and he hits it. Duncan Robinson. What a first half for the Wolverines. 55-29 at the break. The Wolverines shoot 8 of 11 from behind the arc in the first half. Couldn't have gone much better in the first half for Michigan.
Yeah, on that last play, that was just amazing. And it seemed like it was an amazing play by Michigan. It seemed like MSU fell asleep at the wheel. You can't let the ball handler get penetration, especially with 4 seconds left. You want to make him take a deep 3, and he got penetration. The help came, but the help came from Duncan Robinson, who's the best 3-point shooter. He had so much time, and he was able to get that off right before the shot clock. Perfect execution by Michigan and horrible execution by Michigan State. And that's sort of how this first half has to go.
That half couldn't have gone much better for the Wolverines. 8 of 11 from behind the arc, 75% overall. 12 turnovers for Michigan State, and they lead by 26 points at the half. Any closing thoughts from you?
Yeah, just basically Michigan's doing what they needed to do. Run the offense through Mo Wagner, who has been doing an amazing job of staying out of foul trouble. MSU has no one that can stop him when Nick Ward is off the bench, and that's sort of the reason Michigan's offense has been going, and Michigan's defense has been taking away shots from MSU scores. Again, their 2 point guards aren't scorers, and Michigan's defense has been daring them to shoot, and that just discombobulates MSU's offense. MSU has been trying to run and has been effective at times, but the high pace has also hurt MSU, forcing them to commit sloppy turnovers. And Miles Bridges have kept in check, and I think that's the biggest key of the game. Is DJ Wilson's doing a great job of hounding Bridges and forcing him to pass the ball up. And I think that MSU, if they want a chance to win, Miles Bridges has to get more involved. I think they're going to try to give him the ball more on offense. But so far, this game has been completely going in Michigan's favor.
Yeah, everything pretty much going Michigan's way. That's all for Will Yang and Evan Oshley. On the other side of the break, it'll be Leo Blavin and Adam Brodnack. We will see you in a little bit.
at the start of the second half. Michigan on top of Michigan State, 55-29. Welcome back to Crisler Center alongside Adam Broadnax. I'm Leo Glavin. Adam, Michigan State gave up a season-high 55 points to the Wolverines in the first half. What made the Maize and Blue offense so effective?
I think it was honestly been wielded by Derek Walton, and he's had such a stellar season individually in what has been a relatively poor season for the Wolverines. And he's definitely showed up tonight. I mean, you look, he's had 12 points already, 7 assists. So he is navigating and executing this offense, creating open looks for his teammates. And they've been executing as well. You look at the well over 70% field goal percentage shooting from them. But I think that also speaks to the disorganization of the Spartans in the first half. They've just been all over the place, and a lack of leadership there. Izzo had to have been getting into him in that locker room.
Moritz Wagner, Derek Walton Jr., Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman, all three of them in double figures in the first half for the Spartans. Aaron Harris, the lone man to reach double digits in that first half, but he was 4 for 4 from the field. How can Michigan State get him more involved in the second half?
Yeah, Aaron Harris is just so fast. He's a hard guy to keep up with, and so is Tum Tum, but we haven't seen much out of yet. And the Wolverines have been good defensively. They've been leaving space off of Harris and leaving space off of Tum Tum to shoot, and they just haven't been making it from long range as good as they have been on the inside. But for the Wolverines to continue their stellar defense and to continue forcing those turnovers, the Spartans have already had 12 turnovers in the half, and that's just been, that just speaks to the stellar performance from the Wolverines.
As we get set to start the second half, Michigan finished the first half on an 8-0 run. They've made their last 5 field goal tries and are shooting 75% from the field, including 73% from deep. And if Michigan can keep that shooting pace going, as difficult as it may seem, this game could get even uglier than it currently sits. Michigan on top by 26 as we get set to start the second half. Michigan in their black socks, black shoes, and homage to the Fab Five era in their maize uniforms with the blue numbers. Michigan State in their green and white. Spartans starting with the basketball in the second half, working left to right. Tum Tum Nairn with it. He's joined by Langford, Harris, Bridges, and Ward on the floor for the Spartans. Wilson, Wagner, Urban, Walton Jr., and Rockman on the floor for Michigan. Miles Bridges with it at the top of the key, guarded by Wilson. Spins inside the painted area, fires up a scoop shot. No good. Rebound brought down by Walton Jr.
And a great defensive possession right there. I think that's what's going to be tested the most by the Wolverines during the second half.
Nice cut. Wagner gets the feed from Wilson, and Michigan's offense keeps clicking.
And as much as we'd like to see the Wolverines offense to keep clicking at the rate they do, they will have to return to the mean eventually. And with that, the defense will need to step up.
So far, so good on both ends for Michigan. Their lead up to 28. Bridges feeds it down low to Ward. It's stolen away by Wagner. The big German brings it the other way. Feeds it ahead to Wilson. One-handed stuff, DJ Wilson. It's a 30-point romp here at Crisler Center. Tom Izzo has absolutely no answer, and he'll use another timeout. That can be the second half script Izzo hoped to start with. Here, 18:50 left to go. Michigan on top by 30 here in Ann Arbor.
It only took the Wolverines a minute and 10 seconds to get this maze rage electrified coming out of the second half. What a great pass back and forth from Bo Wagner. Got the steal off of Ward, who was trying to bring him deep into the paint, but coming out with that steal, he got the ball, showed off those guard-like skills. He likes to refer to himself as 7-foot Steph Curry. He showed it off there, connecting with DJ Wilson, that beautiful one-handed flush.
Michigan came into this game averaging 46.9 points per game. Or I should say, shooting 46.9% from the field, shooting 73%. How much of that is great offense for Michigan, and how much of that is Michigan State's defensive woes?
You know, the easy answer is to say both, because it is. But the Wolverines, after getting beat down by the Buckeyes on the home court, they came back and responding as another one of their bitterly hated rivals in MSU, and they're just getting retribution right now, as the Spartans have always felt that they've had the upper hand, especially in recent seasons against Wolverines, and tonight they've just come out and showed the resilience and rebound from that poor performance against Ohio State.
Michigan State has won the last 5 meetings between these two sides. And it's been a series that Michigan looked to be in control of when John Beilein was getting his stride here in Ann Arbor. The Wolverines had won 3 straight before this most recent 5-game skid to the green and white. But tonight, Michigan making up for a couple poor performances against the Spartans of East Lansing. How can Michigan, assuming they hold on, and granted there's still 18:50 left to go, but they lead by 30 and show no signs of stopping their increase in this lead anytime soon?
Yeah, the Wolverines just got to keep pumping it into the paint, getting guard play. I mean, these screens that have been set have been really good screens. They've been taking the Michigan State guards a long time to get around them, especially with Donnell, who has been known to set those really hard screens. He's been opening looks, and it's creating, help defense out of that, which leaves those open looks that Derek Walton has been finding. And in transition as well, points off turnovers, Michigan has 24 to Michigan State's 4 points. And that has been a trend that has been propelling them to this 30-point lead. And honestly, one of the best performances of the season so far for the Wolverines.
The 5 starters still out there for Michigan. For the Spartans, they have Aaron Harris, Miles Bridges, Nick Ward, Alvin Ellis, and Tum Tum Nairn Jr. Michigan has 1 starter with any fouls, and it's DJ Wilson who has 2. The rest of them all clean sheets. And right on cue, an off-ball foul called against Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman, his first, team first in the second half. 18:46 left to go in this one. Michigan on top of Michigan State 59-29. Inbound to Nick Ward. Hands to Ellis, driving inside, gets to the rim, has his shot blocked, but there's foul as well, and I think they're going to get DJ Wilson. They will. That's his 3rd. Decision time for John Beilein as he strolls down his bench. And he will bring in Duncan Robinson after the first of 2 free throws from Alvin Ellis. Michigan State still looking for their first points in this second half, trailing by 30.
Yeah, Tom Izzo looking for something out of these Spartans. As you see the personnel change, brings in the senior leadership in Alvin Ellis. And as DJ will and Alvin Ellis there with the great scoop right under. He pulled through right there. He cut in off that rebound and really got in front of the Wolverines defense. Scored right there on that scoop.
Alvin Ellis getting just the 2nd offensive rebound, or the 3rd, I should say, of this game for Michigan State. Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman, now Robinson with it, working around the perimeter for the Wolverines. They lead by 27. Walton dribbles inside as it's stripped away for a moment. Aaron Harris couldn't hang on to it. It's still loose 3 on the shot clock. Irvin just got to get a shot off. He gets it off in time, off the side of the rim, no good. And Bridges brings down the board.
And a missed opportunity there as Wolverines got sloppy on that pass.
Bridges left alone at the top of the key for 3 off the front of the rim. Rebound fought for. Robinson brings it up, pass it up ahead to Walton, and they're going to get a foul on the floor. This one against Alvin Ellis. His first team foul of the second half for the Spartans. The lead, Michigan 59, Michigan State 32 with 17:46 left to play.
I think one of the things we've been seeing throughout this game, especially in the first half, is that the Wolverines are winning the 50-50 balls. They're getting on the floor during this rivalry game, and they're winning the 50-50 balls. I think that speaks to the mentality that they have coming into this game that they just didn't have against Ohio State.
Derek Walton Jr. dribbles it in front of the Michigan bench. Now at the top of the key, lots of contact. They're going to let him play. From the right elbow, his jumper missed everything. And it looked like Alvin Ellis got a hand on it. Back the other way come the green and white. In the corner, Ellis from deep. Off the heel, no good. And Michigan will break the other way, and they're going to get an off-ball foul, a push in the back, they're going to say, against Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman, nowhere near the basketball.
And this speaks to the chippiness of the game so far. I mean, you look at the first technical on DJ, the second technical on Ward for tripping Mo Wagner later in that first half, and now Marr gives a slight push, and the officials retaliate and try to set a standard of keeping this game less choppy than it was.
John Gaffney made the call, and the crowd, upon seeing a replay, unhappy with that decision, and I think they may have a case, and they're going to get an offensive foul the other way. Bridges getting in on the shoving action as well, and they're not going to let any chippiness go here in the second half.
Yeah, they're trying to settle down this game as carried over from when they were in East Lansing over at the Crisler Center.
Michigan State going in a full court press, so Irvin will come back to get it. Now Walton will take it, and the Spartan defense will retreat. For Bridges, that was just his second personal foul. Robinson with it at the top of the key. Feeds it to the left side, Walton. Back up top to Robinson. From deep, he'll try it again. No. Offensive rebound fought for. Wagner tipped it out of bounds last. Ball to MSU. The sharpshooter, Matt McQuaid, checks back in for Alvin Ellis. Perhaps he can be the three-point shooter to get things going for Michigan State. They trail by 27 with 16:50 left to go in the game.
Yeah, Izzo searching for answers still for this Spartans offense. Have not been able to get any sort of rhythm going.
Down low, Ward with it on the left block. Lowers the shoulder. Spins by Wagner. Path to the basket, cut off up top to McQuaid. Good ball movement in the far corner from three. It's Tum Tum Nair. Not a great three-point shooter. That's why he was left alone, but he makes the Michigan Wolverines pay.
Yet an overcommitment from the Wolverines, sending three players down there to guard Ward.
Tum Tum Nair shooting 40% from deep on the season. That number a bit misleading. He's not a guy who gets many shot attempts. And he's not a guy Izzo particularly wants to see shoot the basketball, but when he's making it, why not? 8 on the shot clock at the other end. Wagner from 15 feet out, no good. Offensive rebound brought down by Rockman. Feeds Robinson in the near corner from three. Yes, sir.
Great flush there to Duncan Robinson. He didn't even hesitate to light that up from deep.
Michigan on top by 27. McQuaid down low to Ward, nearly lost it. Gets possession back. Scoop shot up off the glass and .48 left to go in the second half. Michigan on top of Michigan State, 62-37. The Wolverines shooting 69% from the field and 69% from deep as well, as the Wolverines are routing the Spartans.
The Wolverines have just not let up coming out of the first half, and we saw a glimpse of this earlier in the season against UCLA when they were trading bucket for bucket, but the defense just wasn't there. And tonight, that's a different performance against a great Big Ten opponent every year. They brought in a stellar freshman class looking at Ward, Bridges, Winston, and the other All-American in Joshua Langford out of Alabama. The Michigan State Spartans look to reload, but they've just not been able to catch rhythm, even with the stellar performances. The freshman class is averaging nearly 48 points.
Ward gets the free throw to complete the three-point play, and Michigan State will go back into the full-court press. Cassius Winston in there for the Spartans, along with McQuaid, Ellis, Bridges, and Ward. For Michigan, Duncan Robinson, Derek Walton Jr., Moritz Wagner, Zach Irvin, and Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman. Wagner going to work off the dribble. Spinning inside the painted area. Lots of contact. Gets a shot up through it, and he walked with it before getting the shot off Gene Sterador, the man on the call.
And Wagner trying to trap Ward underneath the basket. He just took that third step when he went up for the turnaround hook and just got called for the travel on that one.
The lead 24 for Michigan. McQuaid in the far corner, kicks it up top to Ellis. 15 on the shot clock. Cassius Winston now with the basketball on the near side. Lots of motion, off ball. McQuaid now in the near corner, dribbles inside, nearly has it stripped away. Lots of contact. Wagner took it away, and they're going to get a foul, and I'm not sure who it's on. Sterador is going to get it against Wagner, and that, I love Gene Sterador as much as about any official in the Big Ten, but that was a bad call.
Yeah, did not see the contact there. Looked to be that Wagner just got in there and ripped the ball out of the hands of McQuaid because he just wasn't aware that Wagner was behind him. And the crowd let him hear it as they just showed the replay up on the big board.
Perhaps. And then an offensive foul once again, and TV Teddy to the rescue. Ted Valentine making the call. And it just seems like whenever Michigan State gets a break, they give it right back. As Gene Sterador perhaps trying to make it a more competitive game, Teddy Valentine says, no, sir. The lead remains at 24 for Michigan with 14:50 left to go.
And still out with the full court press here as Cassius Winston meets Derek Walton right there.
Moritz Wagner at the top of the key with the basketball. Hands it off to Walton Jr. Walton drives inside, gets to the left block, dribbles at baseline, and now will circle back to the top of the key. 5 on the shot clock. Walton behind the back to Wagner. His three rattles around but doesn't go.
Yeah, and you see late down in those shot clocks that they look for answers and they always go to the pick and roll a little too late in forcing those shots.
Wagner a bit too physical. Picks up another cheap foul. Just trying to shield off Ward. That's his third personal 6 team fouls. So the next foul will put Michigan State in the bonus with still 14:24 left to go in the game. Mark Donnell checks in for Wagner.
And that's not Wolverine-like, but what can you say during a rivalry game like this?
Ellis feeds it down low to a wide-open Bridges. His layup over Robinson goes.
Yeah, miscommunication there, leaving Bridges right under and forcing Robinson to defend that.
Irvin will bring it up the floor for Michigan. The lead continuing to shrink now down to 22. Donnell sets a screen for Irvin. Now Rahman with the basketball. 10 on the shot clock. Screen from Donnell. Rahman driving inside. McQuaid takes the blocking foul.
And Cassius Winston just playing that, as you heard in the crowd, he's just playing up on Derek Walton, denying him the ball constantly, which forced Wolverines to look for other playmakers. And where's Zach Irving been? He's only has 3 points on the day with his lone three-pointer coming in the earlier minutes of the first half.
They're going to conference about this. I thought it was on the floor initially when they made the call. Rahman's lined up at the free throw line.
Yeah, I agree. It looked that it was on the floor because he was driving in.
Because the shot came well after the contact, and it will indeed be on the floor. They got that one right.
Yeah, as McQuaid was sliding, Rahman was still driving on that ball.
McQuaid certainly not in position to take the charge, but Rahman got the shot off after the charge was called. So Michigan will inbound under the basket, and they will get another foul against McQuaid, another cheapie, just trying to prevent Derek Walton Jr. from blowing by him. His second in a matter of seconds, and that's the 15th foul against the Spartans, so both teams in foul trouble here in the second half. Michigan, meanwhile, has gone without a point in the last 2 minutes and change. Wolverines could sure use a basket here. They also have a 22-point lead, which gives them some margin for error. Walton kicks it up top to Urban, wide open from 3 off the side of the rim. And the rebound brought down by Ward. Michigan ice cold. The near corner, McQuaid left alone from deep. His shot no good, and Robinson battles for it and brings down the board. Walton feeds the near corner. Rockmon gets to the rim unabated and lays it in with a finger roll.
What a great drive there as Ellis hadn't set yet on Rockmon.
Winston pushing the pace the other way. Feeds Ellis up top, left alone on a bad switch, and he swishes it through.
Yeah, miscommunication between Irving and Rockmon as they both switched on to the other Spartan curling out.
Ellis's big triple cuts the lead to 21. 12:50 left to go in this one. Walton with the basketball at the other end for Michigan. Guarded by Cassius Winston. It's a senior on a freshman. Walton driving, feeding Donnell down low. Lots of contact, doesn't get it to go.
Yeah, forced an awkward shot there, and Donnell's just not in position to put it in.
Winston over the top to Bridges. Back to Winston from 3. And that would have been a big bucket. It doesn't go. Michigan pushing the other way. Walton ahead. As Robinson feeds Robinson, and it was out of his reach. Last touch, though, they're going to say by Alvin Ellis.
Yes, Winston looked to have gotten right under the chin of Derek Walton to alter that pass. I'm surprised that a foul wasn't called there because contact looked to be made.
And boy, I don't know about that call. They're going to say it was last touch by Ellis. I think Michigan's getting a break there. The lead at 21 with 12:27 left to go. Michigan on top. Tum Nairnin with Cassius Winston, Aaron Harris, Kenny Goins, and Miles Bridges for Michigan. Duncan Robinson, Xavier Simpson, Mark Donnell, Derek Walton Jr., and Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman. Inbound to Rahman. Spins to the left block off the glass. No good. He was fouled, and he will go to the line to shoot 2. That's 6 for the Spartans.
Yeah, he was knocked on the wrist off that spin move. A wild move there, so got bailed out on the foul. But as we see with the personnel changes, that Izzo is searching for answers on the offense. He's searching for answers on the defense. And the Michigan State Spartans just having trouble finding any sort of rhythm to stopping the Wolverines, to catalyzing on turnovers, any of the sort. Just keeps biting them again and again.
The first free throw is pure from Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman.
And Rockmon has had a stellar performance. He's at 13 points now, 5 of 7 from the field.
The second is good. Michigan's lead back up to 23. 10:28 left to go here from Crisler Center. Michigan on top of Michigan State, 68-45. I'm Will Blavin, alongside me, Adam Rodnack. Adam, as you look at the stats from this game, what stands out?
I think what stands out most is the turnovers from the Spartans, and the Wolverines be able to get out in transition and scoring on that. They're now up to 26 points off of turnovers, and most of those coming in transition. I think that's been a missing piece of the Wolverines offense since Glenn Robinson had declared for the NBA draft, because players just haven't been getting downfield or getting down the court. They haven't been pushing as fast as they need to be to capitalize on those turnovers. And tonight they have done that, and I think that speaks to the adjustments that they've made coming in this game.
When Michigan played in East Lansing, it was one of their worst performances of the year. This, arguably their best. They lead 68-45 with 10:15 to go over the dreaded Michigan State Spartans. And Ward pass towards Moritz Wagner, tipped by Ward, and the Spartans force a turnover. A blocking foul called against Xavier Simpson as Alvin Ellis looked to blow by the freshman.
And now Ellis will bring the Spartans into the single bonus here.
Ellis at the line. Both teams now in the 1-and-1 the remainder of the way with still 10:08 to go. And the first free throw from Ellis is through.
And Cassius Winston checks back in here. Once recruited by the Michigan Wolverines, but once Xavier Simpson signed on, it was a sign that Cassius Winston was not the point guard for the Wolverines. And tonight he has not showed it with 6 turnovers in just this game.
Ellis readies for the second, too strong. Irvin skies for the board.
And Irving having a relatively quiet game here. He had a quiet game against Ohio State and back in East Lansing too.
Zach Irvin with the basketball near side. Trying to feed it down low to Wagner, nothing to it. They'll try it again. This time he gets the bounce pass to the big German. 6'11", working towards the basket. Step back, Euro step, short. Ellis with the board. Nairn pushing the pace. Inside Ward. Somehow gets through all the traffic. Shot rejected by Wilson. Back up again in the second attempt. Also no good.
Yeah, what a great help side defense there from DJ Wilson. Use that athleticism he's had and that balance he's brought to this team all season long to reject that ball.
The lead 22 for the Maize and Blue. Xavier Simpson, the freshman, feeds the junior Wilson. Now Wagner, top of the key. Irvin driving baseline with it. Gets to the glass, and he missed everything with his shot.
He didn't even get back of the glass, had time to get the ball in on that reverse.
Bridges has it stolen away. Up ahead to Walton. Walton, who stole it. Back coast to coast with the lay-in.
What great instincts out of Derek Walton Jr. to capitalize on that hasty pass coming up. As Cassius Winston now has his 7th turnover of the game.
28 points off turnovers for Michigan tonight. Their lead back up to 24. Tum Nairn trying to get it in down low to Bridges, but Wilson shielding him from the basketball. Winston down low to Ward. Ward through lots of contact, no good, and no call either, much to the dismay of Tom Izzo. Michigan with great interior defense tonight. You were looking for the bigs to respond after a poor performance against Ohio State. They've done just that. Wagner, top of the key with 10 on the shot clock. Michigan seems to be in no hurry. Simpson, dribbling, driving inside through all sorts of traffic. His floater goes, the shortest man on the floor, goes in the painted area among the trees and lays one above him. Back the other way, Ward lowers the shoulder. His 3-foot hook shot rolls around the entire cylinder and tickles the twine.
Yeah, 3 back-to-back possessions to Ward. He finally puts it in after that. And what a great floater there back from Xavier Simpson, as he's definitely has shown up tonight in this rivalry game.
Ward now 6 of 11 from the field. Simpson from 8 feet out. Wagner spins and he walked with it before he put it on the floor. That's the right call. by TV Teddy once again. Timeout on the floor, 7:17 left to go in the game. Michigan on top, 72-48.
Yeah, and he just switched that pivot foot out before he put the ball on the floor right in front of Teddy Valentine. Obvious call there. Teddy Valentine looking to keep the game competitive as much as he can, as much to the dismay of the Maze Rage. The crowd here nearly full, although the Spartans
Certainly
fans
the best
have
crowd of
rolled
the
in.
season.
Yeah, can definitely agree with that. But Spartans, there's a much more green and white at the beginning of the game here. Not so much now, as the Wolverines have built a 24-point lead over the Spartans. What an un-Spartan
Unexpected.
game. Yeah, unexpected. Trying to find the words here.
Yeah, Michigan, which fell earlier this year 70-62 in East Lansing, in which the Wolverines were woeful on both ends of the floor. Tonight, it's been the exact opposite. Michigan shooting 61% from the field, and they forced 18 turnovers from the Spartans of Michigan State. This is a Spartan team that came into tonight's action 1-5 when committing more than 15 turnovers, and 13-4 when committing less than 15 turnovers. So it wasn't a case of something having to give. It's just if Michigan State takes care of the basketball, they win, and when they don't, they lose. And Michigan has forced them to cough it up plenty tonight.
And it's about comes as simple and dry as that. And speaking of which, 10 of those turnovers have come from Winston and Bridges, both not having a good night taking care of the ball. And it's been miscommunication after miscommunication with passing. And the Wolverine guards especially have been hounding Winston with the ball every time he gets it.
Michigan, meanwhile, has taken care of the basketball, just 7 turnovers. And the real difference in this game has been 28 points off turnovers for Michigan. Wagner and Walton leading the way with a combined 29 points. Walton 5 of 8 from the field. Wagner 6 of 9. Meanwhile, typical Derek Walton Jr. performance, 5 rebounds and 7 assists. Walton came into this game averaging just 3.6. And we are officially on triple-double watch for the senior point guard from Detroit, Michigan.
And Derek Walton has just had somewhat of a stellar season coming into his final year as a Wolverine, trying to leave a legacy, trying to wield this Wolverine team into the tourney for one last chance to make a run. And tonight he has showed up and shown just that.
Michigan on top by 24, 7:12 to play. Winston dribbles, strides, up top. For the first time today getting in on the action is Kyle Arns, and his 3 no good.
Yes, Izzo looks again for personnel swap. Hasn't committed to clearing the bench quite yet, but nearly
he down
has.
low Wagner, and he got held.
They got held on that roll right there. Besides Aaron Harris, all backups on the floor right now.
Matt Van Dyke in there, a guy who plays garbage minutes and is a walk-on, and perhaps the white flag being waved by Tom Izzo. Michigan on top by 24. Michigan also in the bonus. Wagner ready to shoot the 1-and-1.
Yeah, look to be singling the white flag here.
And don't expect to see Michigan take their foot off the pedal anytime soon. The first free throw good from the 6'10" product of Berlin, Germany.
As the bigs for the Wolverines have just come into their own this season. An unexpected jump by DJ Wilson, who's just been the energy and the athleticism the Wolverines have desperately needed. And Mo Wagner, who's just been the backbone of this team.
Second free throw also good on the floor for Michigan State. It's Kyle Arns, Cassius Winston, Matt Van Dyke, Josh Langford. And in the far corner, Tum Nairn, Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman, Zach Irvin, Moritz Wagner, DJ Wilson, and Derek Walton Jr. on the floor for Michigan. So starters versus scrubs, if you will. Michigan with the talent in their favor. Missed shot, rebounded by Arns. Dominique Winston thought about a 3. Instead, he will reset.
He's looking to take Wagner one-on-one here.
Screen from Van Dyke. Winston decides not to use it. Trying to dribble by anyone. He can't do it. Tum Nairn drove baseline. Back up top, Winston. 5 on the shot clock. Screen from Van Dyke. Winston will try a triple, and he tickles the twine from deep.
Yeah, and as he flushes that home, any sign of hope for Winston tonight came right there.
It has been a rough night for the true freshman. The Michigan Mr. Basketball selection a season ago. He's just 1 for 3 from the field, that being his first basket, and he's got 6 turnovers in 15 minutes of play. Wagner, top of the key with a 3 at the other end, off the front of the rim. Rebound fought for by Wilson, but it's secured by Kyle Arms. Winston, heat check from just inside the arc. No. Tipped around. Wagner finally skies for it.
And Wagner there with a great box out. Just been something that the Wolverines needed after getting out-rebounded again and again on second-chance points to Ohio State, for the bigs to box out, as Michigan State tried to find any sort of answer here.
Michigan looking to break the record for the largest win against Michigan State. They need 29 points of a lead to do it, and that'll help. Wagner drives off a nice feed from Derek Walton Jr. The lead up to 25, another near steal. Winston able to keep a handle on it. Feeds it down low. Van Dyke didn't even look at the basket. His first attempt, no, his putback is good. And Izzo will take a timeout with 4:45 left to go. Michigan on top by 23.
Yeah, Michigan, if they're looking to keep the gas pedal down, then they need just 3 more points here to tie the largest win in history over the Wolverines. Over the Michigan State Spartans.
Derek Walton Jr. with his performance tonight, becoming just the 3rd player in Michigan history, joining Gary Grant and Jalen Rose with 1,000 points, 400 rebounds, and 400 assists in his illustrious Michigan career. And he has been the lone bright spot over this rough stretch of play. But tonight, it's been a strong cast of characters for Michigan, including Walton Jr., who have led the charge for Michigan. 19 points from Moritz Wagner, 14 from Walton and Abdur Rahman. DJ Wilson with 6. Zach Irvin, another off night, 1 for 5, but he's gotten plenty of help. However, you have to think going forward, Zach Irvin's got to be a guy Michigan can get more involved offensively.
Yeah, moving forward into this final slate of Big Ten play, Zach Irvin needs to come back to his own. He struggled these past 3 games, but luckily the other Wolverines have stepped up tonight to fill that offensive production that Irving normally pours in.
4.5 minutes to go. Michigan leading by 23. Walton with the basketball for Michigan.
Starters still in for the Wolverines.
Michigan State with most of their starters in as well as Josh Langford and Cassius Winston. Walton will try a triple. Everything falling for Michigan tonight, and that one does as well. The lead back up to 26.
Derek Walton clapping in the face of Aaron Harris as he has just been feeling it.
Can Michigan
from long range
break the record? That's the goal at this point. A win by 30 would do it. They lead currently by 26, under 4 minutes to play. Winston looking for someone to get it to. Finds Nairn. He'll try a triple. No good. Rebound Wagner. Michigan with a chance to match their largest lead of the game, which is 29, if they can get a triple here.
And the Wolverines have left open Tum Tum all night to shoot that.
And it's been a wise decision. Nairn 1 for 5 from the field. Again, one of the worst shooting point guards you'll find in the country. Walton, screen from Wagner. Back up top, Wagner. Good ball movement. Rockman will try a 3 left elbow off the heel. Rebound skied for by Miles Bridges. Off-ball foul, and they're going to get Nick Ward once again. Tom Izzo furious with Ted Valentine. And they're going to say Ward used his arm to overextend. I wouldn't hate to see a technical. Let's see if Michigan can break this record. 3:12 left to play in this one. Michigan leading at 79-53 though of the basketball when we get back to action. Adam, what can you take away from Michigan's performance tonight?
I think the main takeaway here is that even without Zach Irving, this Wolverines offense is potent. And when they're finding open looks and they're hitting and executing, I think it speaks to the strength and the resilience of this team that have been building this whole season, especially off of turnovers. And I think that speaks to the defense that just has been missing throughout this Big Ten slate. They've just been getting they've been getting beat. They've been getting beat bad. And
Michigan came into this game allowing a conference worst 41.2% from behind the arc to the opposition. Michigan State, though, tonight, 5 of 15. What did you notice from Michigan defensively? As obviously the offense is good. When you're shooting 60%, you're going to win a lot of games. But it's been the defense tonight that's really stood out.
Yeah, obviously the perimeter play from the Wolverines, looking at Derek Walton, looking at Xavier Simpson, who sort of come into his own this season as a true freshman out of Lima, Ohio. They've just been hounding the guards. They've not been giving open looks. And then I think there's been a commitment to their assignments. The adjustments have been there, and they've been clear from the coaching staff. I mean, definitely credit Coach Donlin on that. But the Wolverines tonight have showed if they can have stellar guard play on both ends of the court, that they can compete with the best of the Big Ten. And Michigan State Spartans were in that conversation in the first half of the season.
Michigan entered this game at 14-9, the same record as Michigan State. However, the Wolverines 4-6 in conference play, the Spartans 6-4. But all of a sudden, Michigan just creeping around, staying around. Right now, most projections have Michigan State in, Michigan out. But this result tonight can certainly change things. Of course, the big test, though, coming up for Michigan down the stretch. They've gotten through the easy part. They'll travel to Indiana on Sunday, a game we hope to have for you here on youtube.com/WCBN Sports. We'll know when soon as we hear from Indiana whether or not they have space for us. Then Michigan will host Wisconsin, travel to Minnesota, travel to Piscataway to take on Rutgers, host Purdue, at Northwestern, and at Nebraska to finish out the year. But Michigan capitalizing with a dominant home performance tonight over the green and white. Michigan leads 79-53 with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, not an easy Big Ten slate left for the Wolverines, having to play Wisconsin, having to play Indiana again. And
Derek Walton Jr. feeds it down low to Wilson, who had it stripped away. Langford with it for the Spartans. Nairn dribbles at the top of the key. Ward fighting hard to get positioning for the basketball. Bridges feeds Ward down low. Gets Wagner to go on a pump fake and stuffs it home with 2 hands.
Yeah, I'm looking forward here with most people projecting Michigan State in with Michigan out. I think Michigan's still sitting at that first 4 out spot. And with the win tonight, they definitely have changed the conversation a bit. But they have to finish out this slate. They need more quality wins. They just haven't finished out close games against competitive opponents.
Walton has yet to dribble anywhere near the paint. Now he does. Through contact, lays it in.
And Derek Walton finishing off a fantastic night out of him tonight.
2:03 left to go. Michigan on top by 26. Again, the largest win in program history against the green and white is 29 back in 1996. And at this point, everyone hanging around knows that number, and they want to see it broken tonight. John Teskey back in, and that will get the remaining Michigan fans on their feet. They'll give a standing O to the man checking out. Moritz Wagner, what a performance in this rivalry game. He will get his first win against Michigan State. 19 points on 7 of 11 shooting, including 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and just 3 fouls. Walton finishes the 3-point play, and Walton will check out. He will salute the crowd, his final game in this rivalry series, and he gets a much-deserved standing ovation. The lead up to 27 with 2 minutes to go.
As Wolverines looking to get to 29 here in the final 2 minutes.
Bridges feeds it to Tum Nairn, and it goes out of bounds. Ball to Michigan. That's turnover number 20 for Michigan State. Chance of little brother from the Maze Rage in attendance. Ibby Watson checks in. Zach Irvin checks out. Xavier Simpson, Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman, Ibby Watson, John Teskey, and DJ Wilson on the floor. Lead 27.
And the Maze Rage left is looking for that
Teskey.
Magic number.
Hard screen. Rahman thought about a 3. Instead, will reset. 7 on the shot clock. Rahman drives inside through contact. Lays it off the glass for 2. The lead is 29. 1:20 to go. Sean Lonergan readies to check in, as does Brent Hibbett. Off a screen, Ellis. No, rebound, Teskey. He's 7 feet tall, he brings it down. Rockmon will slow things down at the other end. Under a minute left to play here in Ann Arbor. Michigan on top, 84-55.
Michigan looking to give it to the Spartans here, setting that new record, trying to get it. He's getting hounded right. It's Muhammad Adil over Rockman getting hounded right now by Aaron Harris.
Rockmon feeds Teskey. A near steal out of bounds in front of the Michigan bench. 5 seconds on the shot clock. 3 substitutions coming in, the 3 walk-ons. Fred Wright-Jones, Brent Hibbett, and Sean Lonergan. And there's a timeout on the floor as well. 42.5 seconds left to play. Michigan on top, 84-55 as they announce the 1,400, 500 club that Derek Walton Jr. becomes just the 3rd Wolverine to be a part of. What a special night for the senior.
He joins a special group of people, highlighted by Jalen Rose, one of the Fab Fives, and what a coincidental night to do it too, when they're paying tribute and homage to the Fab Five with their black Jordans on tonight.
Derek Walton Jr., who helped Michigan reach the Elite Eight his freshman year. And with the stretch he's had here in Ann Arbor, he will be remembered very fondly for years to come. And boy, is he enjoying this one. His 4th win against Michigan State in his career.
And there are many critics out there that harp on Derek Walton for not becoming the next Trey Burke. When he was a freshman, he had an opportunity to sit behind him, and he's sort of expected to fill that role, to fill that void that was left by Trey Burke. And a lot of critics haven't lived up to that, but Derek Walton has brought his own taste, his own flair to this point guard position. Yes, he fits the bill of being 6 foot, but he has brought his own legacy here these past 4 years.
Lonergan ready to inbound, 5 on the shot clock. Lonergan gets it into Hibbett. 4 on the shot clock. Hibbett throws up a prayer off the backboard, off the rim, no good. Bridges back the other way. Has it stripped from behind, but he was fouled, and he'll go to the line for the 1-1.
And the Maze Rage yearning for that next point to build the lead here to finish out the game. And Hibbett put up a prayer there and nearly rimmed it in and out, much to the dismay of the Maze Rage.
Bridges clearly winded, hands on his knees, ready for the front end of the 1-1. Gets to go.
Taking up the Spartans, Kyle Owens. 41 in Connor George. Marks will be the substitution for the shooter.
Bridges ready for the second, 32.9 to play. Gets them both, and the lead back down to 27. The shot clock not turned off, so Michigan, with a 3, can break that record. The largest win against Michigan State came back in 1996. It was a margin of 29. The current lead, 27. Fred Wright-Jones drives inside, has his shot rejected, but he was fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. 2 big free throws for the walk-on.
Fred Wright-Jones showing his aggressiveness there, trying to get those points. And he got bumped there, but he'll get bailed out here with those next free throws for him.
Gets the first to go. This the big second free throw to match the record. Gets it through. The walk-on, 2 big shots. Shot clock turned off, 20 seconds to play. Michigan leads by 29 over Michigan State. Tum-Tum Nairn. Now Arndt. Aaron Harris with it. Top of the key. Has it stripped away. Teskey up ahead to Fred Wright-Jones. That will do it. The final score, Michigan 86, Michigan State 57. It's the largest win against Michigan State in program history. What do you have to say about the performance, sir?
I think, as you heard over the microphone, the Derek Walton chants going through the maze rage speaks to a fantastic performance here overall for the Wolverines.
Michigan will next return to the floor on Sunday at Indiana, a game we hope to have for you at youtube.com/WCBN Sports. On behalf of our entire WCBN Sports crew, Will Yang, Adam Brodnax, and Evan Osterly, we wish you a good night and go blue from the Crisler Center. I'm Leo Bladen.